Standing in the cold, cold rain, I don't even feel the pain. Anything to step away, I know we could both do better. Wish you would've left me here, now I'm just controlled by fear. What's the point in our reflection, if you never look in the mirror? Counting the days until you're gone, waiting for us to carry on. Oh, I'm running, what am I running from? Time's going by, but where's the time going? I tried to give you everything, you took it all and took it for granted. If you're still falling out of love, maybe it's 'cause it's not enough. Setting fire to my brain, wondering how I'm to blame. You're the one who doesn't dream, so why are you always sleeping? I remember when you said you're afraid of what's ahead. What happened to ride or die? I asked and you just start crying. Now are you acting so surprised? Haven't you seen it in my eyes? Oh, I'm running, what am I running from? Time's going by, but where's the time going? I tried to give you everything, you took it all and took it for granted. If you're still falling out of love, maybe it's 'cause I'm not enough. Maybe it's not enough. Baby, I don't wanna lose you after all that we've been through. If you could change my mind, I would do it in a heartbeat. That's if you really love me. I would do it in a heartbeat. That's if you really love me. I would do it in a heartbeat. That's if you really love me. Don't search for me, 'cause I'm going AWOL. In my heart there's a hole, yeah. And in my head there's a demon, I can't take control. I took too much, locked myself in a room, just my sins and myself, yeah. It's getting hard and I think I'm doomed, 'cause everyone left. Everyone left. 'Cause everyone left. 'Cause everyone left. You can see straight through my life. Oh, there's something in my chest that I can't hide. When feelings get involved, I'm terrified. 'Cause I've been here before and said goodbye. Oh, are you the one when I try to look, I wish I'd find? Oh, how can I love when I've been hurt 100 times? For you, I'd give it one more try. Turn away and wrestle with my doubts. Oh, I leave them all behind, but don't know how. Bury my head deep within the crowd, but I'm reaching for your hand to pull me out. Oh, are you the one when I try to look, I wish I'd find? Oh, how can I love when I've been hurt 100 times?
Get all your videos ad-free and watch uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium free of charge.
It's so hard to open my eyes. I'm blind to the light from the sky. I'm dealing with things I can't write, and all of you know it's been no easy road. But I keep working harder, going harder just to prove something. Burning out, I can't do shit for weeks. Guess I proved nothing. Everybody wants my work for free. I know you have the money, things are looking different. I'm not putting up with you, not anymore. And I know you think you still can take advantage, and you always took my humbleness for granted. But I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think you still can take advantage, but it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it. 'Cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. got bruised up, so I put it on ice. Been told that I wouldn't make it in this life, but now all of you see there's so much room for me. And I know you think I still can take advantage, and you always took my humbleness for granted, but I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think I still can take advantage, but it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it. 'Cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me.
You started with a beginner's guide to League of Legends, but now you're watching Pro Level Tips.
Blue, the feeling behind my eyes. You stood out 'cause you were in red. Then, against my intentions, I let you turn me violet instead. Summer high, met you in August. New York, back to my cold apartment. Distance sucks, but at least I'm still with you. White out skies, middle November. You and I, flights to wherever. I don't mind, as long as it's with you. As long as it's with you. At the festival that we met at, where you were just a face in a crowd. And now I can't imagine me with anybody else. As we close out the night underneath the lilac sky. Summer high, met you in August. New York, back to my cold apartment. Distance sucks, but at least I'm still with you. White out skies, middle November. You and I, flights to wherever. I don't mind, as long as it's with you. 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 Next year will be close. I will wait as long as it's for you.
So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit.
You don't like the lights, but it's camera time. Said take the picture, but you rolled your eyes. Now I'm mortified and still terrorized. push me behind to get me from my better side. I wanna push you back, but that's all you want. Wanna wrap me up, I'm holding back. Tryna get me framed, throw me in cuffs. Said I attacked you, that's just a false truth. No need to argue, and yeah, I've had enough. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. There's more to me, everywhere I try to go alone, I find you there. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. Oh, there's more to me, but anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. I find you there. I'm so scared to leave my house, so I cannot run free from this. Always being watched by you, and that's so inconsiderate. My privacy, does that exist? Probably haven't heard of it. Need to live a different life, cause lights and cameras are in it. Trying to find a silver lining, all I wanna do is avoid the violence. But you're here again, I'm losing it. There's no more screaming in silence. Get out my face, turn off the flash. I hate the fame, no more of that. Leave me alone, or I'll collapse. I need a break, don't feel the crack. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. There's more to me, everywhere I try to go alone, I find you there. Yeah, yeah. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. Oh, there's more to me, but anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. I find you there. Winter's here, the snow is falling, not a cry.
Introducing Captain Plugins Epic, 5 powerful plugins designed to help you create unique chords,
Cause you won't look after my wounds, I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, cause you fucking love it when I fade. Cause you won't look after my wounds, I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, cause you fucking love it when I fade.
suppose you will never regret it. I should pull myself up from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I fade, 'cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should pull myself up from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I fade.
Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. Now look behind. It's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. This darkness, my old friend, you won't get me till that's the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend.
Welcome to the Crypto Lamb Talk Show with your hosts, Andy and Fizz. Be sure to follow and check us out on Twitter.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. We are streaming today on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch simultaneously. So if you're over on YouTube, welcome. If you're over on Twitter, welcome. And if you're on Twitch, of course, welcome to you for tuning in. Today's topic of conversation is, of course, going to be on the Harmony One proposal, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding that and a lot of discussion going on right now, so we're going to continue that discussion. And we have a special guest with us today as well. And if anybody else wants to get involved with the discussion today, you can do so. Head over to my Discord if you do so wish to do so. And yeah, I am going to go ahead and start the call now with Fizz and Priest, who I believe are there. So let's go.
Start the show.
There we go. Hello, Fizz.
Hey, let's have a show, Drew.
Right. So let's get your camera on as soon as I find it. How are you guys doing?
Do I need to go to my fancy camera location?
Yeah, if you could. I need to find the link for that for you. Bear with.
You do. I agree.
Copy the link. And there we go. I'll pass you that there. So if you go ahead and join that, we will have you on.
And then I have to mute it. Webcam could not be detected. Why?
Because you're using it on Discord.
Okay.
So you need to turn off your camera on Discord.
Unuse it on Discord.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, tech help with the Crypto Lamb podcast. My name is Priest, and we'll be teaching you how to do things.
How you doing, Priest?
That's mine.
I am exhausted. I've never been in more meetings in my life since I've left working in the corporate world. Oh my gosh, what a whirlwind of a week.
Indeed.
It really has been. You've done good.
All right, so now we have...
Oh, hang on. I got double Andes.
Yeah, you need to turn down your...
Mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
it. Yeah. All right. Now Chrome is down.
I'm still hearing you double. Hang on. I know how to fix this. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I've muted you on the stream because you're on the stream twice otherwise. So I've muted you there. I should be able to still hear you. Can you talk?
Talk.
There we go. I can still hear you. That's good. There we go. We're getting somewhere now. Right. Okay, and I think I can do the same thing for our guest, actually. Let me go ahead. I mean, it's very difficult to set this up beforehand because we don't know who's coming. Now, I've got you on the stream twice now. I think I can only add one instance, so we're going to have Logan on Discord instead. So, Logan, when you're ready to join... There we go.
Awesome that we got Logan this morning.
Right? Yeah, no, I messaged him on Twitter. I'm like, hey, do you want to come on, dude? He's like, sure. So that's awesome. I don't know when he's going to join, though. He might be a little bit busy at the moment. So we can kick things off here. So, Priest, I know you've been in like a lot of spaces the last day, 48 hours, 72 hours.
Oh my
Priest,
God.
if this was a soap opera, then tell us where we're at.
Oh my God. So if this was All My Children or any of the shows that our parents watched while they were raising us, because back in the day when we were young, you didn't have to have both parents working.
Right.
We would be at the point in time where we're thinking about, allegedly, yep. We're at the point in time in the soap opera where the main character's mom's husband is dead, but like it's the second husband, but like he had some shady, dealings before he magically disappeared. And we're just kind of like figuring it out. And I'm not trying to say anyone's done anything shady, but like that's just kind of like what happens in soap operas, right? But man, the things that we found out, and I think we've heard from a number of core team members in Twitter Spaces, whether they were on their actual accounts or on alt accounts. I think that's kind of up in the air. Some people were on their real accounts, but I don't know if they were core team members, but they definitely do work for Harmony. And I think we definitely heard some things that were very, very close to what we heard from Ogre. And
oh, wow.
Since then, I was in it for like 7 hours yesterday, and I fell asleep. They
you're talking about the web. You're talking about the Twitter space that Juice and Flu were hosting.
Correct. Well, I'm going to get back to that one because I kind of want to do the MTOP part first, and then I'll go back to that. The MTOP one, we found out that Harmony was actually reaching out to them while that Twitter space was on, letting them know that, hey, well, no, we're going to do the funding at X levels, and these are your milestones, and we'll pay you $35,000 tomorrow to put it in your liquidity. And like they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. And yesterday, the one Twitter space that was kind of started everything was Flu had Juice in, and they were talking about people trying to buy out Harmony. I'm not talking like a joke, man. I'm not like not memeing. I'm talking like literally buy Harmony, kick out the owners, by hostile takeover. Maybe I guess would be the right way to phrase that. And yeah, it was a wild effing day.
That's insane.
So what are some of the proposals that are being discussed right now, Priest? What are a couple of the ideas that people have had that are some legit ideas, and then what's just something that some people have just completely off the chart?
So I think some people are still okay with a modicum of printing. I personally don't think that's the move at all. I don't, but that's like my own personal opinion. But we've heard some really awesome things through the community. Schwaver, who's in our Discord from DeFi Tower, and found out a little bit more about him through these Twitter spaces yesterday. But
really interesting. Interesting.
He's really intelligent. He really cares, and he believes, and he put up a couple things where, there we take a little bit of the treasury and we plug a little bit of the gap. I know, Ev, I'm sorry, and we plug a little bit of the gap. We find some VC funding, right, and we use that VC funding to also help plug that gap. Some people suggested that maybe executives should take a salary reduction to show some solidarity with the fact that the people that our supply depend on their supply are not able to make ends meet.
I saw that some people suggested that.
Actually, Jack from Harmony liked it when it was in their Telegram, so I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Well, speaking of Jack as well, Kratos has been advertising quite hard for a Google Meet that is happening today. Let me see if I can find the tweet real quick. Yeah, so there's a meeting happening today in about 4 hours. In about 3.5 hours, I think it's happening. The plan is, if I can get into the meeting, I'm waiting, and I don't know if I can get in, but assuming I can get in, the plan is that after this show, I will keep the stream running, and then when that meeting starts, I will stream it here on the Crypto Lamb Show. So it will be on Twitter, it will be on YouTube, and it will be on Twitch, so that everybody can check that out wherever you may be watching from. So again, if you didn't know, we have 11 people watching us on Twitch right now. We have 3 people watching on Twitter, and we have 3 people watching on YouTube currently. So wherever you are, please send out your tweets and let everybody know where they can find us and tune in. Logan's just setting up his camera right now. There we go. We are using Restream, Logan. That's exactly what we're using. Logan's camera is ready, so I'm just going to add that to the stream as well. So carry on, Priest. I will shut up.
Well, I can tell you that in all of those Twitter spaces yesterday, there were people who work in other blockchains. There were magazines that cover blockchain. The people who came into these spaces were not. I mean, there were a couple trolls clearly, but I would say that majority of the time that were there, you were looking at project leads, project team members, core members, Harmony team members. And then, the random people who had no idea what was going on. And at one point in time, what was that one on Monday night? 175 people? It was 175 people now. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's 175 people in a random Twitter space trying to figure out how to save Harmony. And I think that's kind of indicative of all of the community and all the things that we've kind of been talking about on the podcast. Is the community here is kind of special. So
Yeah, it is a special community, and I think that we would all be very well served to try and stay together the best we can. Look at Logan's setup, man. That's kind of sick.
Dude, Logan has a better.
I saw that big
station than I
man
do.
fly today.
Dude, did you see his backflip?
I said, "Look at you, big man. Get up."
I'm trying,
Logan's
man.
more
I'm
athletic
trying.
than I am.
Good to see a fellow big man up there moving.
Sorry,
good
I'm
to see
just
you guys
trying to crop you in so it looks a little bit better because you have got an awesome setup there, and I think everybody needs to see it properly. So I'm just cropping you in properly so that we get a real feel for your setup. You're making me look like a complete amateur.
I've been doing this for 10 years, so I mean, it's my main profession. I don't mean to show anybody up. I just I like what I do.
All right, and because we're using Discord as well, I need to pin it on top. Otherwise, you won't be able to see him properly. There we go. You're pinned on top now. I need more screens, man. How many have you got? How many screens you got going there? You got one big one.
Looks like
1,
wall.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.
Yeah, I've only got 2.
Yeah.
I definitely need more.
This just got set up 2 days ago. It was set up at a completely different space, and so it's very compact compared to like what I've had set up in the past. But yeah, I like it. I hope the audio's coming through okay. I literally just grabbed a camera, flipped it around.
As far as I can tell,
the set for the 1 weekly is currently like back there. So I hope we get the chance to continue doing those videos.
Yeah, so I mean they're kind of on pause right now for obvious reasons, I would guess. No, or is there another reason, or is it just because of everything that's going on right now with the proposal? It's just on pause, or you know, because
really on pause.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed the first one that you guys did. I thought it was really positive for the community in that respect, and there definitely needs to be more of those going on, I think. So, I mean, it's no surprise that with everything happening right now, you know, with the proposal and everything, a lot of people are kind of upset with that. You know, and there's a lot of people trying to speak forward. And of course, you know, Stephen himself actually took to the forum yesterday and posted, let me see if I can find the post, bear with, but he said, there we go, I found it. Hello everybody, everyone, thank you for your comments and suggestions. I've read all of your messages top to bottom and met with the team to discuss. Your concerns are understood, and we are returning to the drawing board from your suggestions, feedback above. We will create additional proposals and opportunities for everyone to engage in the process. I'd ask you to stand by as I work with the team over the coming days. We will return with new information for everyone here to review. Thank you once more. I sincerely feel your frustration over the current proposal. Our next steps will hopefully bring more options and clarity for the community to discuss. And there was a little bit of a mixed reaction from people when he posted that. Some people kind of, you know, not being too happy, saying that it's too little too late, and you know, some people saying thank you for engaging and listening and reading the comments. So, you know, a little bit of a mixed reaction from that, and I can guess, you know, why people are still pretty frustrated. And again, there is you know, quite a few spaces where people are for the lack of a better way of putting it, kind of disillusioned. What would you say to those people right now, Logan?
And I don't know. What would I say, like, as Logan?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I don't want
to see me. Yeah, no, I want to make sure like that's the, you know, that's the avenue I'm speaking from as well, and making sure that's clear too. Like, this is just like from my brain.
I mean, Logan, you're a pretty positive guy. I mean, that's kind of your brand. So, I mean, we would expect something along those lines from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, dude, but it's obviously it's the current topic of conversation right now, and you know, a lot of people want to hear. And the thing is that in order for Harmony to continue as a chain in a community, you know, people need to be hearing the positive things that are happening. And unfortunately, there was a lot of people that were trying to set up initiatives, and they felt that they weren't being listened to or being dismissed entirely. But that seems to be not the case now. Stephen seems to be saying, you know, no, we are listening. which is, quite a bit of a turnaround, which is great, which is fantastic. But again, there's still a lot of a bit of a divide. So, I mean, just from yourself, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear, for the people that are divided, for the people that are on the other side of the fence that are still frustrated and angry, just a positive message for them if you can. I mean, just, for these guys, I see your cat's trying to join the stream there, bless him. So, just to let these guys know, do you feel positive? Do you feel, that there's, a lot of good things about to come from Stephen? I mean, yourself, assuming that, the schedule for more videos up and coming,
Yeah, I would say that when the initial kind of like gut-wrenching post came out that said we're gonna drop like 5 billion, that's a dagger, and a lot of people called that out, and that was one-sided. So I mean, to those people that came angry from that perspective, I can understand that, because that was hard for me to even unwind, and I'm glad that it didn't trickle as long or stick around as long, I guess, as other things have, if that's positive. I would like to see a multi-prong approach to this. And whenever it came out like, hey, flip of the coin, that was crazy. And I retweeted Brad, and he said something like, I think that this proposal's fake, and they're gonna come back with something better. And based on the call that I was on last night, and I'm sorry, I hit my cat. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh dear.
I was moving my hands. I didn't mean to.
Oh, bless him.
So, but based on the call that I was on last night and listened to from the validators and One Harmony Core team member and a lot of community members as well, because it was an open call, and there's another one today at 2.
Yeah, which I'm hoping to restream one with Jack, isn't it? Is that the one you mean?
Yeah. But based on the one I heard last night, it sounds like those ideas are at least being accounted for, and that not all is discounted. Not all is discounted. That's all I can say. Like on July 29th at 10:51 in the morning on Eastern time. That's what I can say. And so I'm hoping for the best too. I really want to see a multi-prong approach. That's it. I want to see a multi-prong approach.
Yeah, which is, I think we're going to see that. Now, look, Priest spent a lot of time in the spaces yesterday, and just before you joined us, he was kind of telling us a little bit about that, and he was saying that there's still quite a lot of division and quite a lot of people upset, obviously, like I've already mentioned. So, it is kind of difficult. And the funny thing is that I'm starting to see a little bit more of a positive shift from between yesterday and today. I'm seeing a little bit more of a positive shift in the sense that some people are welcoming the meeting that's happening today at 11. Is it 11 a.m. PST? I think it is, something like that. With Jack at Harmony One. To have a chat with validators and things like that. A lot of people welcoming that. And then another person that was, kind of not outspoken, but just kind of venting frustration on Twitter was Harmony Rachel. But then that person yesterday or today, retweeted the statement by Stephen from the forums that I read out a few minutes ago. And then, that was positive. A lot of people, welcoming that. So I think it's entirely possible that we could potentially start seeing, it flipping around and becoming more positive later on, which is great. So before we talk a little bit more about what you're doing with your work, Logan, I'm interested to hear a little bit more from Priest and what he found in the spaces yesterday, if you don't mind, Priest, if you can. He might be busy with the baby.
I'm good. I had to just get to the phone. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had to go to bed it was like midnight Eastern, because I had been in spaces since like 2, because Blue started that one with Juice. And like, I would say that people are definitely divided, and I would say that after the M-Top space, when I got off, I would say people have some more confidence on the Harmony side, because it seems like the communication had changed throughout the day yesterday. It was an evolving situation, which was nice to hear. But I don't think anybody really appreciates printing money as a solution to a problem. I think if we look at the real world, it doesn't really go very well. So I'm very hopeful to hear good news, and I think that's kind of what everyone was trying to do. Is we were trying to plan contingencies, I think, is what was going on, because everyone wants Harmony to succeed.
And that's the critical thing, isn't it? Everybody wants Harmony to succeed, but there are some projects that are bailing out. I'm hearing some interesting things today as well regarding, if I can find it, bear with me. Sorry, I'm a little bit unprepared right now. It was in one of the Discords. Here we go. Yeah, so Hermes DeFi has been cancelled. And I've heard some interesting things about that with regards to Austin from Harmony, Hermes DeFi, kind of distancing himself and LP being pulled. So it would be interesting to hear from Austin or somebody else from Hermes to kind of lay that to bed, because we know in the past there's been situations where people have lifted LP and it's not been for nefarious reasons. Like, people always jump to that conclusion that it is for nefarious reasons. It could be because they're thinking of moving. So, there is a lot of that going on as well. I've just noticed as well, we have Pioneer on the call. Are you there, Pioneer?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm just following you around, yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on the meeting today with Jack and the statement that Steve made yesterday? Are you a little bit more positive today?
I try not to be fickle about it, but I will say that I've been contacted, and I got to go to the validator meeting as well to put in the community's 2 cents. I mainly just want to see some leadership restructuring, not like the chopping block or anything like that, but just more of a board of directors type situation. I think a lot of the people that are crucial to our community have kind of drawn a line where they're even if we can figure out this $100 million plan, I think ultimately nobody really cares unless there's some sort of restructuring that happens.
Okay. I think have we lost you there, Logan? He's possibly. No, you're back. I thought we lost you there for a second.
Just need a quick second. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. Right, so I'll go ahead and hide that. Where's it gone? Oh, it's up there.
And I think one of the things that we've said on the podcast a bunch regarding restructuring was like, even Steve Jobs need to be protected from Steve Jobs, right? Steve Jobs was not necessarily the greatest boss. There's a lot of things that came out about him being a huge dick, doing things like he wouldn't ever, he would just constantly change something about his car, so he'd have to have a license plate or something, like just stupid, weird idiosyncrasy things that just don't make sense. But what was he really good at? Making sure the products that he brought forward were innovative, intuitive, and marketable, and so when well supported generally. So everything I've heard from people, even people within the company who think he's a bad leader, say he's a genius at what he does well. And I think that is the most important thing, is we are where we are because of the decisions they've made previously, the good ones and the bad ones. And I think we recognize that the good decisions they've made have been really good, but the bad ones have also been really bad. So it's kind of a stay in your lane kind of a deal.
It seems to be interesting to see this split, because on Wednesday it was all very negative, whereas today it seems to be shifting more to the positive, and it's kind of difficult to sit and be neutral when you're watching a lot of fires try to be put out, but I think it's important that we do try to maintain that kind of neutral fence sitting kind of thing. I think it's important to give people a voice and ask some difficult questions if they need to be asked. But right now, the thing I can't help but do is kind of acknowledge the fact that the team are actually addressing the community now. It could have been done earlier, I think, but it looks like it's being done now. So, Fizz, you want to add anything to that, dude?
No, I'm with you. It's kind of interesting to see, what if this were a project that we were trying to launch, not a project that we were trying to fix? How would that change things? If everybody already hadn't suffered such tremendous loss, would this project even be able to get off the ground?
It's an interesting question, but I don't think it's a very helpful one, in the sense that, if it was a project trying to get off the ground, then I think the answer would be a resounding no. It wouldn't, because if that happened straight off the bat, that's just proper doom. But because the thing that makes Harmony One great, I think, is the community. As well as the tech, obviously, and everything behind the platform, the community is like one of the strongest that I've ever seen on any chain. For that, I know every chain has its core community, and they're all really great people. But Harmony is something different. When the hack happened, you obviously had a lot of people scrambling to there was a lot of negativity. Of course, a lot of people lost a lot of money. Of course, it's to be expected. But there was also a lot of people that then all of a sudden came out from all branches, all different projects, and basically started saying, right, how can we fix this? How can we help? And I think that's really, really important to acknowledge. So I think if it wasn't for that kind of community unity or harmony, if you want to be cheesy about it, it would be we would be doomed for sure. So on Wednesday, it looked like we were in a death spiral. And then today, I'm seeing kind of a different shift. And I think it's really important, if Stephen really is a bad leader, like some of the core team are saying, then, obviously, we're going to see that come true over the next few weeks. But, right now is where he's really going to have to test, show people, his mettle, at the end of the day. And he said, I've read the comments, we're listening, we're going to fix it. And that's really critical. That's really, really important, I think.
And it's extremely ironic to watch, a community that's done nothing but talk about decentralization, and all of this comes down and hinges on one man. It's just ironic.
Well, at the end of the day, a lot of people have been focusing on Stephen and saying, it's your fault, it's this, it's that, you're this, so a lot of people have been kind of pointing those fingers. So I think it was inevitable, really, that it would come down to what Stephen says. And a lot of people have been waiting for him to stand up and say, right, this is what we're going to do. And a proposal was put forward. It was unanimously rejected by the community. And then after that, he said, okay, right, I've listened, I've read. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next. Logan, I'm kind of interested in that. So I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to divulge conversations or anything like that. But have you spoken to Stephen about this? Do you guys plan to maybe do a video and address some of these things going on? Is that on the cards potentially?
So I've only spoken to Stephen on the 20-minute phone call that we got for the interview for the One Weekly. And those questions were pre-prepared from Matt and Daniel and myself. We all three worked on getting those questions together for Stephen based on community feedback. But that's the only time I've spoken to him directly at any point.
Right. And do you have any, is there a slot booked for another video, do you think? Or have you not heard anything?
I haven't heard anything as of yet. I know that there's not one going out today. I know that there's some ideas in the docket just for like what we could do, but it really just depends on what direction like the team has for communications. I'm not sure how the team. I think that the one weekly in its previous format of just almost like a news show made a lot of sense for like getting the word out for projects that are building on Harmony. I think that if it was to transition, it wouldn't be a 1 weekly anymore, and it would be something completely different, which would be fine. Currently on the Bounty, there's one more 1 weekly that is available for them to have me do. There's also 3 like standalone videos that we were gonna do, like highlights for different like standalone pieces. But those 4 elements are the only ones that are left on the Bounty proposal that is approved currently. That's where it kind of stands as far as I know. I know that they did ask me to like write a little bit more. They're like, hey, Matt was like, hey, did you write anything for this week? And usually he writes like everything and helps out with the majority of that, like structuring. And then we go through together and kind of like fine tune for like just verbiage and making sure I can speak it well. Usually I'll read the whole script out loud on a phone call. But anyway, I don't know if those 4 videos are what the plans are for them. I don't think they're a 1 weekly. Like I said, it's kind of a different product at that point. It's a different video altogether. But I'm a community member too. I'm here to help, that's why I'm here on this call. Push the information and continue, driving the bus forward, because we need answers and we need to not have a 12% inflation rate. And we need to, sorry, that's kind of crazy. We need to not, we need to have a multi-pronged approach to a lot of this. But as far as communication goes, it comes down to what they want to share. And I like what, I think it was Harmony Villains who's on the call, said that one of your ideas was, or one of your visions was to like push a board structure or a more like a board structure from leadership. And so like if that can happen along with a multi-pronged approach, this would really not only like brighten a chain, but like it'd be a story for us to tell. It'd be cool. It'd be a really cool story. It'd be fucking dope.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think
sorry.
No, go on.
It just takes, a little bit of humility. I think I don't think there's any problem with Steven not necessarily being the sole leader of the chain. I respect the fact that he created the chain, that this is like his business as a startup. I also understand, Polygon still technically has a C-suite. They dissolved it. I guess technically they dissolved their titles, but they are still run by a group of individuals that started the project, right? So I understand that, especially at the onset when you're growing your user base and your infrastructure, that you do need a central authority to lead this, right? That's the most sensible way to handle the business. I get that. But yeah, if it was just spread out, even just amongst the core team for starters, and then I would like to see maybe some of the core DAO governors or something a little bit more creative, to be more collaborative. But even just the core team, there's enough people that he surrounds himself with that are talented individuals that come from different technical backgrounds or other professional backgrounds. I think we've got qualified leaders. And I think that we just need a little bit more of their voice and their opinion and their direction in the decisions that are being handed down to us.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I think that's what most people want, isn't it? They want that structure, they want that communication. But the thing is that I was so hoping when they did the first video with you, Logan, I was like, yeah, that needs to be a regular thing. That needs to continue. I think people would respond very, very well. It was very well laid out, very professional. I mean, it's what you do, right? You've been doing it for a long time. You know what you're doing. And again, I don't want to keep blowing smoke up you, but you do a great job. And I think that's something that, needs to continue. And I really hope it does. But like we said, especially from Wednesday, it's just a bit of a dumpster fire right now, and they need to kind of address that. And I think once that calms down, hopefully they can dedicate a little bit more time to kind of working with you and putting those videos out. That'd be absolutely awesome. So what's next? How do we see things going from now? Do we think things are going to start to become more positive now with after Steve's statement, after the meeting? Well, I mean, obviously we need to see what happens with the meeting today with Jack first before we can make a call on that. But the fact that they're actually addressing it and speaking with the community is positive. So I'm not talking about hope. How do we actually see things moving forward for Harmony right now? Do we think it's going to get better, or do we think that it's going to continue to unfortunately spiral? Anybody can jump on that one.
Not I, said the rat.
All right, I'll be the one to talk about it. Nope, can't be me, sir.
Well,
that was for voting.
Let her talk. It sounds like the last Twitter space.
So, a lot of people right now globally are talking about Prince William and his pegging, and the Harmony community are talking about our repegging. So that all ties in quite nicely, I think.
Are you talking about Prince Harry's pegging?
No, Prince William, not Harry.
Oh, okay. I thought Harry was getting pegged pretty good.
He probably is, but they only know about William right now. So, we're talking about Harmony One, of course. We have Logan with us at the same time as well. Logan, if you don't know who he is, how would you describe your job title? Are you ambassador to the Harmony One chain? Would that be an appropriate title? How would you say?
I'm a bounty hunter.
A bounty hunter.
I like Boba Fett.
Yeah. No, I'm a community member. I'm a Harmony community member.
You're a Harmony community member.
Learn
okay.
the bounties and how they work.
Yeah, so I know a little bit about this. Do you want to take that one, Logan?
As far as what? I'm sorry, missed that.
Can you just explain what bounties are and how they work?
Yeah, totally. So the bounty program is open to anyone who has an idea that would advance the protocol. And so you can they have a basic structure that you can go through and basically outline your idea, how much it'll cost, different links that are associated, maybe some backup work to show what you've done. And if the bounty is approved by Harmony, then for each milestone that you hit, you can receive payouts for those different milestones. And so I know that Community DAO was doing that for a while. They were doing bounties as well, where if they had an infographic that they needed created, then a graphic designer in the community could go onto like Dwork. Dwork is like a platform where you can pick up jobs in Web3, and you could like apply for that bounty and then create the product, send it to them, and be paid. So kind of the same fashion in like the DAO world, but like this was for Harmony Foundation like specifically. So that's how the Harmony One Weekly kind of started. In fact, it actually started because I read the Medium article. So to anyone that's watching this video thinking, oh, I'll get all the information I'll get. No, go to Medium and start reading because it's good for you and you should read more. And I was able to learn about the Harmony, that's where I learned about the One Weekly that Matt was putting together and that whole initiative. And they said in the article, they were like, we'd love to see this done as a video format. And so immediately as I was reading that, I was like, oh, well, here's my tripod. Here's my camera. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hit record. And so I hit record and I just filmed that first. I just read through his script. I just basically read it was like an 8.5 minute video. And then just submitted that to Daniel Pagan, who I actually worked with before last year, sometime around Harmony was on like R cryptocurrency, like Reddit's R cryptocurrency. And I did a video project for him. We turned it around like 24 hours. It was, like I said, this is my day job. So like I took what just I knew how to do and I just applied it to like, I love Harmony. I love what I do. Marry the two. And so, but that's kind of the gist of like bounties and kind of how I did mine and kind of how you can do yours and how you can find it. It's kind of a boot camp of it. So Did I miss anything?
No,
does that cover it?
that's pretty spot on, man. So anybody can do this stuff. It's just that I kind of do a similar sort of thing on various other chains as well. That's basically how it works. Get involved if you think you can do it, if you can use video editing software, camera. Logan is leaps and bounds above me when it comes to the equipment and the studio that he's got. That's true. I'm literally in my living room with a green screen behind me from Elgato and a camera stuck to my wall. So I'm a little bit more kind of basic in that sense. But ultimately,
it's okay though. This whole setup here, I'll give you just a little history. This was like a blessing in disguise. Last year, I had the opportunity to do a 26 episode live stream for a local hospital, and that paid for 180% of what you see. And
Nice.
so, including like cameras, the lenses, the whole thing. And so that blessing in disguise was kind of like, well, the show ended, so that freaking sucked. But then I was able to like flip it around and like, okay, now I can kind of like use this stuff in Harmony, and also I'm still using it in like in my own business with Loge Media. But like, it's just it's something that's kind of like grown over time. And the same with Harmony. Like, I didn't know this stuff a year ago. I didn't know I could get involved and just start working and stuff. You can do the same thing. Just start asking people, how can I work? How can I get to work? What do you need help with? What can I do? And people will jump on. I mean, you said it even too. Like, projects are doing that right now, which are like trying to rebuild the mess of like whatever this is. It's like that teamwork and that connection is what advances the chain, because you're better as a sum than you are of equal parts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, completely. One of the things that I want to ask you a little bit more about some of the other work you do. If you want to share that with us, that'd be absolutely awesome. Let people know some of the more, some more of the other stuff that you do, and a little bit about your brand. Essentially, one thing I love about the sort of thing that you do, sort of thing I do, is that you get to meet a lot of really, really cool, awesome people, a lot of different cool projects and things like that in the real world, crypto, wherever. So that's absolutely awesome. But it's like I kind of understand and feel your frustration a little bit as well, because obviously you start working with Harmony, everything's going great, and all of a sudden dumpster fire, and now you have to sit there and not only be somewhat neutral. I mean, it's okay to voice your opinion, nobody's gonna blame you for that, but at the same time you still need to be relatively okay, well, I'm working with these guys, I can't be too hardline one way or another, which is absolutely fine. But and I'm sure most people will understand that. So when it comes down to it, what would you say has been the biggest challenge for you? With Harmony start from when you started to now. Am I right on that? Has it been frustrating? How are you navigating that?
Frustrations with Harmony stem from the frustrations with Harmony last year stem from like just poor management software. Like, they could have done way better with their RPCs, and they failed so bad at it. And DeFi Kingdoms like really hurt. I heard the community just like, we need better RPCs, like screaming it. And it's like, man, that's what sucked, was like the technology. But then the technology got fixed, and then the communication sucked, and then the communication got better, and then the technology sucked again. And now the communication, see what I mean? There's like this, so like that's kind of what sucked. It's the focus kind of has shifted so narrowly, so quickly, that it's not really creating a pattern for me, if that makes sense. It's just kind of like there's two ways to run a company. You can run a company as a flashlight, or you can run it as a laser beam. They both require the same amount of energy. One of them, though, can pierce through a wall and can get to the other side and can break through, right? And once you break through, then you widen the hole, you increase your bandwidth. I don't know if that has happened from a leadership perspective, and that saddens me. It definitely has happened from the technology perspective. We're still at 2-second finality. We still are the cheapest chain out there. Like, it's easiest to build on Harmony. So, and the community's top notch. Just to back it up, by the way, community is literally just like leaps and bounds above anything else.
I completely agree with that.
What can you tell us about the actual communication structure at Harmony? Is there a traditional comms department with? I mean, is there a traditional comms department? I guess is.
Well, I know that they were hiring. I know that they were hiring for two. I don't know if they were both in comms, but they were hiring for two different leads in communications. Oh, and marketing. That was the other, communications and marketing, which are basically the same, but have different trajectories. They have different lasers. But I know they were hiring for that. So could it have improved? Yes. But it was just kind of like a flashlight. It was kind of like, okay, let's look at all of the, all the different projects we have, all the different people, and let's, cherry pick this one. And this guy had an announcement, and this one had an announcement too. We should probably highlight it because it's a weekly show. That was the communications for the show. That's really all I know is the communications for the show. I only got about an hour on a call with Daniel, and then I got about an hour with Matt every week. But I don't really know much else about how it's structured.
What is Daniel's actual job? Is he employed in a communications capacity, or is it something he's kind of gotten pulled into?
I don't know. I think he's always been in communications just through the Reddit aspect, because I believe that's where a lot of his communications came from to begin with. I saw him on there, or like that's how I initially got in contact with him to do some of the articles on Reddit. So I don't think it's like he got drug into it by any means. I think it's something that he's really good at. But as far as his title, I don't know. I don't know exactly.
I mean, going by some of the conversations I've had with Daniel myself, he was with Cisco as an engineer for 15 years. And he joined.
So he's not a PR professional.
No,
he's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer without a doubt. But I think when, I don't know what his capacity is with Harmony specifically, what he does at Harmony specifically, but I know that he does do a lot of communication with the community projects and things like that. And I think, unfortunately, that's been his ability to do that has been impeded, by recent events. So I don't think he's been able to fully realize, the things that he wants to do as well for a lot of different reasons. And the conversations that I have had with him as well. And again, I'm not going to divulge personal conversations, but I mean, just like most of the people that are at Harmony right now, he's stressed, he's burnt, he's, he just, like everybody else, wants everything to start being a little bit more streamlined and working properly. But, the poor guy's just, he's probably on caffeine overload right now. So, it's a lot of people have thrown. Sorry, Fizz.
We've got a multi-million-dollar company with an engineer in charge of comms.
Yeah, his actual title is external content and comms.
Yeah, so a Cisco engineer being put in that sort of position is kind of, maybe that wasn't the best position for him.
I don't think anybody could know the situation and think ill of Dan. I mean, it is not Dan's fault that he is an engineer that's been put in charge of communications during a crisis.
Right, but maybe he is also an engineer at Harmony as well, but that also undertakes communications, multi-role, potentially. I don't know. I mean, I could ask him that question next time I speak to him, but, it's interesting that you highlight. I didn't even think of that. I mean, if he's not having his skills properly utilized, then that's not his fault. But one thing I did want to point out is that there was a lot of people on Twitter and various other spaces like that were throwing a lot of hate towards Tim and Daniel, which is, in my opinion, just completely unjustified. And to find out as well on Wednesday as well, I already heard rumors about it, but to also hear it confirmed that there'd actually been an assault at the Harmony offices as well from a member of the public that assaulted one of the staff there. I don't know who. I don't know, any other detail other than what I've been told third party by people like Ogre, who was on the show, who basically confirmed that there was an assault, and that's something there's been a lot of hate thrown towards people, and physical violence is never justified, under any circumstances in that respect. But it's unfortunate that things like that have been happening. And I genuinely do feel that the team, for the most part, I can't speak for all of them, of course, but I think a majority of them have been doing incredibly well under an immense amount of pressure. It's really, really difficult because you can empathize with the frustrations of a lot of people and really feel their anger, really feel their pain, especially those who have lost significant amounts of money. So you can empathize with them and talk about it all day, but at the same time, it's like you look at it from Steven's position as well, and if the guy's genuine, he wants everything to succeed and run, he's probably sitting there like, what the hell do I do? And he's probably got so many people trying to advise him on different directions. It's difficult, man. It's really, really, really difficult.
Yeah, and the irony in all of this is that every engineer that I know chose to be an engineer and work with machines because they did not either like or get along with people. So that is the irony in an engineer being selected to run the comms during a crisis.
Right, but at the same time, I'm a Cisco qualified network CCNA engineer as well. So I know where...
And an asshole.
Sorry?
And an asshole. See, that's my point.
Right. Well, yeah, not wrong. So, but I do like to work with people, despite the fact that I am a Cisco network engineer. Your audio keeps cutting out, I think, for some reason. I'm not sure why. BSKA, I did see your comment over on YouTube. I wasn't ignoring you. I was going to kind of bring that up in a second, BSKA. You said over on YouTube that Steve should resign as CEO and the communication was never good. And then you've jumped over to Twitch because I think you thought I was ignoring you, but I wasn't. And you said that Steve seems like a nice guy, but not a leader. Again, we're getting a lot of mixed messages from that. We're getting a lot of mixed messages as to whether or not he's a good leader or whether he's got his back up against the wall right now, and then putting out the, in fact, I'll put it on the screen. What he put out. If people aren't aware of what Steve actually said on the forum, I will put it up as soon as I find it.
Let me ask this while I've got you and Priest. Have we seen any financials from Harmony Incorporated? Actually, do we know where possible money is, or do we know anything about the corporation of Harmony and its financial shape right now?
Kyle, that's all you, brother.
Oh, sorry,
Excuse
that's me. Yeah, so they've come out and said that there's, I think it was like 20 million in cash assets, and like 70 million in the treasury, something like that. It is posted as well on the Notion site, but I don't know if it's been updated. But there have been core team members that have stepped into spaces that have been very transparent about the treasury, and it sounds like the treasury has enough to like potentially pay down a lot of the 100 million, but that would damage the project, the chain so greatly that it would probably collapse in itself. So that's why a lot of people are saying like, okay, don't pay the 100 million down with the treasury, because we don't want that. But you have to explore the option of like strategically using a part of the treasury to show good faith. So yeah, I'm trying to find it on the Notion site right now because that is something that's generally available on there.
The option that they discussed last night on the call was that they were going to do something, and none of it. Again, the way the call was structured, there's screenshots of it on Twitter, I think.
Yeah,
where it was literally just a white page, and he said ideas, And so
Yeah.
one of the ideas on that white page was to do like 33 million in replenish, let's say, and then but it's redeemable over 12 months, and then over the course of 36 months you would replenish the treasury.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
So that you don't kill the chain, like you had said, like it would ultimately like just spiral on itself because it doesn't have enough to run it from its treasury. But yeah, that was like what that overarching idea was last night on the call. I hope they go through it again at 2 and pick it.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that. But yeah, I liked that framework, and it wasn't much different from what we were originally guided towards, with the initial proposal. But it was like, hey, we'll kind of foot a piece of the bill now with the Treasury, over time, but we'll also print. I was like, okay, well, that sounds way better than just printing money from thin air, right? At least, we can see that you're willing to deploy assets on hand, right? I think that's something everyone wants. I think everyone wants. I mean, I've also heard people say, hey, someone does need to be fired. Not necessarily Steven, but like, over time, we need to talk about how the hack happened and talk about like ultimately where does the responsibility fall, which, that's not something that I really care for. But I definitely think people deserve to know, was there any, department or core team member that really didn't do their job.
So I'm just looking over on the streams at the moment. I'm looking at the Twitter stream. I don't think there's actually a chat that goes along with that for some reason. There should be, but it doesn't look like there is. I've never used Periscope before, but yeah, it just looks like you get to see the video and not the actual chat, which is interesting. So go ahead and join over on Twitch or YouTube if you want to check that out, or you can watch it on Periscope if you want. Oh, I've just started muting it. Yeah, so over on YouTube as well, we have dropped off on the viewers over there. We've only got 3 watching on there, 1 on Twitter. We have the most over on Twitch, which kind of confirms to me that most people are already over here. We've got 507 followers on Twitch now. We've got 1.7 thousand subscribers on my YouTube, but that's, I haven't used my YouTube that much, so, the algorithm's going to screw me anyway. So, and then Twitter is kind of interesting. So if you guys could go and put out your tweets, that would really, really, really help, so we can get more eyes on this space. The other thing as well I wanted to note is that at the end of this stream, I will be potentially keeping the stream open. If I can get into the Google space that is happening with Jack from Harmony One, I will of course be streaming that out onto YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at the same time, so people can get in, join in with the discussion on that. And see what is being spoken about and proposed. So if it's not possible for you to join the Google Meet, I'm going to try and get into that so you guys can still get involved with that anyway. So I'm just going to ask as well, does anybody in the community that is watching right now, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitter, do you guys have any questions for Logan, Priest, Pioneer, or Fizz or myself? Let us know, get involved, so we can continue to have a great discussion. So going back to what I was going to ask you earlier on, Logan, tell us a little bit more about some of the other work that you do, just kind of changing pace a little bit here, rather than keeping it doom and gloom constantly with the fire that is Harmony. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, totally. So I run a full production media service here in Ohio, and I've been doing that for 10 years. I've been doing that my whole life, basically, since out of high school. So I do senior photos, weddings, family photos, business headshots, all kinds of stuff. And so I'm running that, as well as doing the media production. So we do like commercials, like traditional like TV commercials, but also like web ads. Companies need like TikToks or like promotional content. We do all that kind of stuff. We don't do the ad marketing side. I'm hoping to get into that in the next like 2 years. That's like the piece of the puzzle I'm freaking missing.
Logan,
But
is there anything more stressful than shooting a wedding?
is there anything more stressful?
Yeah.
Shooting a wedding with 2 brides.
Oh, okay. In
That's
Ohio.
very. That's the most stressful. Because you at a traditional wedding,
Be
you just,
very
like,
careful here, man. We could be upsetting an entire demographic here. Yeah, I'm just curious what your next words are going to be.
I'm saying you double your chance of a bridezilla. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I was going to say we could end up pissing off a lot of people here.
I'm not trying to pit. No, I have all kinds of weddings on my website. So I do everything under the sun. And so yeah, that's what I cover on like the Web 2 side. That's kind of what got me into like this whole video production photo world. And so once I jumped into Web 3, I kind of started learning about like tokens, token creation. I was around whenever like Token Jenny. I don't know if any Harmony like people remember Token Jenny. I was hanging out during that, but I actually created my own token as well called Logecoin. So a little just flex there for a second. So
nice. Where can we find that?
Low liquidity. So it's available on ViperSwap and on SonicSwap.
Very cool.
I just have to say, little known fact. Oh, hi, Kitty. I just have to say, little known fact. Token Jenny actually formed a DAO and was funded $60,000.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Found out in my research.
Don't know that.
That kind of changed my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. Like I will say I appreciate what they did for the community, making it easy to make coins. Obviously, a lot of scam coins also came out of that, but the thing was, it confused me because they made a DAO request. It took 60,000 and walked away, completely disappeared. Instead of having a funding grant for a project. So I was like, I really hope this was actually supposed to be a funding grant for your project, but it's Token Jenny DAO, and like if you look at all of their communication, that was when they walked. They took the 60,000 and just you don't hear from them.
That's unfortunate.
So speaking of token,
sorry. In your research that you've done, what is the most ridiculous, frivolous fund or grant that they funded?
Oh God! Honestly, there's no shortage. I don't know what to say, because like there's some that got like, I think there was one that got $125,000 and they just walked away with it. That was called Meta Gamma Delta.
Wow.
And yeah, like they got the money in one payment as well. It wasn't a milestone funded. It was $125,000 funded at one time, and they walked.
And what was their DAO? What were they doing? What was their project?
It was another like female-led DAO. You know, there's like Her DAO, Blue DAO. There's a few. They gained a lot of traction within kind of the same time frame. But they took the money, and I don't know if they just took the money and like disappeared into the ethers, or if they took the money and went to the Ethereum chain and did their project over there or something. But regardless, they took the Harmony funding and did not, do Harmony stuff.
So what was did we see a lot of, or did you see, let me put it this way, do you feel like there were several people that had multiple projects that got grants several times?
Yeah, but I will say also, like, the DAO, general DAO guidelines and such, like there's no problem with being like a governor on multiple DAOs. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just a community member that is, signing multi-sig transactions and facilitating the voting. That's really like all you're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, I would say the big problem there was the abuse of the $75 per hour. That was kind of like really extraordinarily abused by a lot of the DAOs. I don't know. I went down this rabbit hole because I don't know much about ZK DAO, the ZKU, zero knowledge university or whatnot. So out of the like 3.6 million that was funded to DAOs, they received almost half of that. They received like 1.4 million. So that there's that, but like
who is it that got 1.4?
What was that?
I said you cut out just a little bit. Who is it that got the 1.4 million?
ZKU, the Zero Knowledge University. And I know they're like a multi-chain project, and they definitely give back to the community, but I was having a hard time like drawing clear lines back to Harmony, especially for $1.4 million worth of value. It just was really strange to me, and I'm only even saying this on this stream right now because I confronted them directly, and like I can see they have an infrastructure and some sort of teaching setting, and they have students and testimonials. Like there's something happening there, but I couldn't get enough information, and I was asking like the hard questions like, hey, so your teachers, like what kind of qualifications do they have? Do they have a degree? Are they industry professionals? Like what are the standards for that? I was like doing that kind of digging, and then I was like digging through their wallets trying to figure out where like $1.4 million ends up, and it goes off chain through a SEX, central exchange. So I lost visibility of it. So I asked them, I was like, hey, so like this doesn't look good, but I understand because of the volatility and the depegging on Harmony that you might have had to move your treasury elsewhere. I also did that with NTopSwap. We moved our treasury to Polygon because we need to preserve our treasury, right? You need stable coins or something to count on. So I was like, if you did that, you might want to like write out a narrative saying like what steps you took, and prove it on the blockchain and give us the new multi-sig address so we can get visibility of those funds. And they wouldn't share it. And they were like, well, who are you? I don't have to tell you. And I respect that. Yeah, I'm just a user, right? But I was like, well, I hate to tell you this, but like I report things, I like look at what's going on chain, and I try to make sense of it, and I write it down and I share it with the community. So like, if you don't tell me, what am I going to tell them? You got funded $1.4 million and took it off chain. Like, I don't know what to make of that, right? That's as far as the blockchain, can show me, because
ZKU took it off chain.
Well, okay, sorry. They took it to a central exchange, which usually means you cash out to fiat. Sorry. So they took it to a central exchange, which is usually a cash out, right? But they're claiming they sent it to KuCoin, I believe, and then sent it to another chain's multi-sig, which that's possible, but I was like, okay, well, what could you share your Gnosis safe on Polygon? Because then we could just verify it, and they just wouldn't. So.
I mean,
anyhow,
well, no, not at all. I mean, it all ties in at the end of the day. I mean, BSK1 says, I can say a lot of the NFT projects that Rugged had some of the same devs. BSKA, do these projects, to your knowledge, have they received grants as well? I mean, it just seems like a lot of very bad choices have been made. Whoever was in charge of the grants is just continuously made several fouls. Tell me more, because I'm still trying to understand a lot of it. If some of you guys know, tell me more about this vegan thing. If you know what I'm talking about, give us some information on that.
Yeah, it's so Vegan Africa DAO, they were, there's a lot of confusion there, but they were funded only, they were funded $20,000. They were granted more than that, but that's how much they actually received, was $20,000.
Right.
And what was their mission statement?
It was basically the same mission statement as a regional DAO. So I don't want to get too caught up in this, but there were many regional DAOs, and their jobs were to be boots on the ground within their region to bring on new users through a lot of in-person events, and then to do translation work for the Harmony.1 site. That was basically it, to be able to tap into more geographic areas and more diverse communities, which I support that. But a lot of them really took advantage of the low-hanging fruit, being the metrics, the milestones. The milestones were like, get 1,000 Twitter followers, get $10,000. So that was a point of failure for sure. But at first I went into this blaming DAOs like Vegan Africa DAO, right? But then I realized, well, they actually did what they were asked. The grant committee set the milestones, and the milestone said, if you host 2 events with 50 people or more per event, we'll give you $10,000. if you get 1,000 Twitter followers, we'll give you $10,000. If you translate this site, we'll give you $10,000. Like, think that you get the point. Like, the milestone.
So, I mean, realistically, it's not Harmony's fault then, is it? If they're doing what they were asked to in order to get those grants, right?
Well, realistically, it's just a problem with the standards that were set, along with the fact that actually these DAOs weren't given the framework and the tooling necessary to succeed in the first place. They could hardly even control their multi-sig. They couldn't do token swaps without taking the tokens out of the multi-sig, which means to a wallet, which means centralization, which defeats the purpose of a DAO. So, like, you know, if one crashes, they have no options besides to just trust one of the DAO members to do a swap or something like that. So that's a problem. You know, you couldn't do staking because the Gnosis vaults on Harmony have historically been outdated forks that were, you know, not feature complete. So there's a lot of problems like that, but I will say, like, yeah, there was an issue with milestone standards. There was an issue with follow-ups from the grant committee. And there was an issue with KPIs being absent. There was no, like, metrics to follow up with and to measure the success of this funding program, right? So yeah, you know, the common misconception is like the DAOs took all the money and ran. And I will say, yeah, some of them did. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars where that was the case. But actually, a lot of these DAOs kind of did have good intentions. Like I said, they were asked to host 2 events, boots on the ground, to bring in new users from their region. And they did that, and they got $10,000. So, like, I can't be mad at them. You know, I've got to be mad at who? Like, the person that said, I'll give you $10,000 to host 2 events or to get 1,000 Twitter followers. That's it. You know, like, our standards weren't robust enough because we didn't have KPIs. You know, we didn't have any performance indicators in place. We didn't really, you know, set the pace for, okay, we want to know how many users we can bring to the table from different geographic regions, and we need to be able to measure that. So the milestones should have been, you know, measurable in some regard, but they were actually just, I don't know where they came from.
Hey, Logan, I wanted to ask you about a quote that you tweeted earlier. It said, and it's from, I don't know who Kay Nergens is, but said, all of us at this moment, we find ourselves at this very messy beach. It's up to every one of us, every project, every community member, every team lead to clean up this mess. Where did that quote come from, and what context was it really said in, seeing as so much of this really boils down to Stephen and share with me a little bit about where you were when that quote was said and how it was received.
Last night I had 2 drinks, and I really liked the way that was said, and I can vaguely remember the context, which was something along the lines of, like, it was in regards to the depegged assets that are going to plague the chain, whether reimbursement happens or not. And because reimbursement only reimburses the wallets, it doesn't repeg or remove the assets that are on chain.
And
It doesn't fix the issue.
that Ed talked about, right? These are the toxic assets, Ed.
So yeah, it was in regards to, like, what can everyone do to take these assets and burn them, so that way this problem gets eliminated over time. And it was through the regards of a couple different methods. There was a lot of different methods that were discussed, like transaction fees could buy back the unpegged asset and then burn it to lower the supply. You could. There was.
Did you see they were talking about making an outgoing bridge and doing what you just said, but instead of burning those depegged assets, sending them off chain? I was like, that's pretty intelligent. Like, that's some big brain stuff. I didn't think of that because I was thinking along the same lines, like, oh, you just burned them. But it's like, actually,
no, yeah, because they're an ERC native token. They're not an HRC native token, so you can just send them off chain. and then you just rid yourself of the supply. You have to burn the debt.
Yeah.
It's like BSKA one says, in my opinion, we should focus on repegging and forget about reimbursement. Reimbursement is a pipe dream at this point. I kind of agree for the stability of the chain. I think people, despite the fact that there's a lot of people that are missing large sums of money and they really, really want to get that money back, they also know that the only chance that they have of ever making any of that money back is if we actually see stability come back to the chain. And one of the only ways we're going to see that is with the repeg, and that's been kind of the hottest topic of discussion since the beginning. And a lot of meetings right now are talking about how we're going to do that. So, it's there's a bit of a discussion on Twitter going on at the moment with some people saying, "Wag me, we're all going to make it," and some people saying, "Well, Fizz just tweeted, we're not going to make it."
We ain't gonna make it.
No.
Hey, so I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if let's say you are insane and you held your toxic assets that are depegged, if a repeg happened, then you would in turn be reimbursed.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's one thing I was like failing to grasp, or that was my understanding, but people keep kind of separating these two things, and I think the problem is, okay, well,
you can't have one without the other, but if you have one, you have the other.
If you have a toxic asset and you sold it for whatever you could get, then you're unfortunately no longer eligible for reimbursement because you don't have your receipt. That's my take on it. I know that's shitty to say, but that's just my take on it. I have some wrapped Bitcoin or whatever, and I just didn't sell it. I was like, whatever, screw me. Okay, you win some and you lose some kind of thing. But, that was also going into this thinking, well, I mean, one USDC has to be repegged. If one USDC does not repeg, I am definitely sure that the Harmony chain will fail. You can't have the Harmony chain without DeFi, and you can't have the Harmony chain without some sort of stable coin. And I know that I think Jack went on the forum and said we should make an algo stablecoin as a possible solution, but it's algorithmic stablecoins don't work. I don't know how many times we have to see the collapse of an algo before we realize that.
Yeah, it's
interesting that you talk about DeFi because it seems like the communication from the past 24 hours seems to be about the game shard. So it is almost as if they're saying, let's build a giant arcade for right now. Everybody play games and have fun, and we'll worry about the financial stuff later.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, great. DeFi Kingdoms is not GameFi. DeFi Kingdoms is DeFi. That's one thing people fail to understand. It is a DEX. It's a DEX. It's a DeFi. So it's that is the biggest user base and the largest amount of transactions on the Harmony blockchain. And it will not exist without DeFi.
So, do you mind if I talk about this? What you just sent me, Logan? I'm just kind of reading this myself. So, yeah, we just.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about algo stable coins, and I just sent over. This is at Harmony Stable X.
I'm going to try and put it. I'm going to try and put it on. I'm going to try and put it on screen. If you could just talk about it.
So that's actually what I sent in reply to Jack.
Yeah. So, I know this liquidity pool just launched, I think, a week ago. So keep that in mind. I try to keep everything in mind. There's a good white paper outlining the risks, showing the code, and outlining 4 scenarios if this stablecoin was to be used on Harmony. And so, from my understanding, it just doesn't have any marketing.
Yeah, no, I was there actually when the guy made the idea in the MTOP Discord. We were in MTOP Discord just trying to think of what could we possibly do. This was 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think. And he just was talking it through with community members, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to make it. And just all of a sudden threw up a Discord and started going on it, and he hired somebody to make a bot that can kind of work with the rules that he set in place to make it, a stable coin, basically, right?
Yeah. it's the same principle as USDT. It's the same principle.
Yeah.
He says that there's some autonomous features in it that allow it to be programmably different. So programmably it is different, but from what I've read, it's nice. I mean, it looks good, but this is me again. It's just myself. This is my own 2 cents. I want to see DeFi utilize one BTC over one USDC. Not replacing it, but like as far as liquidity, I would like to see more BTC on chain than these freaking tokens that are plaguing us right now. And so like my focus is like, personally, when's the Bitcoin bridge reopening? When can I start issuing, onto that bridge? Because that's a trustless bridge. That is not, as far as the audit is, as long as the audit goes well and the internal vaults are good, and which I don't have any concern on. Personally, I don't. I see that as being a way for DeFi to exist in a way that maybe is, I don't know. I might be soloed out in that. You guys can chime in.
Let me just a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andy.
I was just going to say, I mean, what's to stop looking at something like this and just immediately thinking Terra Luna? Do you know what? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think. So I sent something in the group chat to you guys. It's the Harmony One Talk Forum post by Jack that I was mentioning when we got into this conversation. And that's exactly what he said, copying Luna-like algo for Peg instead. And that's why I just told him, oh yeah, StableX is already working on that. But yeah, the thing is, like, you can manipulate these things. Like with enough transactions or enough money, you can overpower the things. So like when StableX came up with this idea, I was just like, I just personally can't support an algorithmic stablecoin, knowing that they tend to collapse once someone figures out how to make them collapse. You basically keep sending different patterns, to that smart contract, and you figure out what its vulnerabilities are. And I hate saying that because I wish people wouldn't abuse systems, but that's what people do.
Well, the fact of the matter is people will, if they find a way to do it, that's exactly what they will do. I mean, it's like it's a good idea, but it just kind of feels like grasping at straws at this point, and it just proves that they don't actually know. It's like the proposal that was.
I like the idea of a native stablecoin or a native store of value. So like the one BTC idea, as a native store of value, I get behind that completely, because I think crypto is kind of confusing, and I don't. No one just tells you up front like, oh, that's not a native asset, so it's actually not safe. You don't actually have that. You have a receipt of it, and it's actually on the other side of the bridge. A lot of people probably didn't know that, right? So I like the idea of using a native asset as the store of value. I think that's the answer, right? And
it's one answer. It's one answer.
Yeah, it's one answer exactly. But I think that's a need. Is we need a native store of value. Whether that's a stable coin or one BTC or something else. That's like a very safe way to go about this.
If Harmony One from MTOP is watching, listening on Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch right now, it says in the white paper here, I, Purple Rain 999, the author of this white paper and creator of this project, am a well-known member of the Crypto Royale and MTOP communities. I've doxed myself to the following Discord users, including Harmony One. I'm just wondering, like, maybe we could get Purple Rain to actually come on and talk about this and try and explain to us how he thinks this is going to be a good idea and not make people instantaneously think, oh, crap, another pending Terra Luna fiasco.
He would definitely come on. He's done AMAs in the MTOP Discord server.
So I didn't even know this existed until now. So
yeah, no, it's a very grassroots thing. It literally happened just in the general chat, and then he fleshed it out a bit more, wrote a short white paper, and started doing some marketing through AMAs. But yeah, it's, you think stablecoin, and you think like you probably have to have a lot of money or be a pretty big organization to make one. No, this is a small team that's set out to do that. And I think ultimately it's great that someone's going to try. That might be all it takes to get the ball rolling and to get very capable people interested enough in the project to donate some of their time, right, and technical expertise. But yeah, I would say talk to them. It's not something worth discarding. But yeah, algorithmic stablecoins, definitely there's a bad taste in people's mouth.
For sure.
I know Pioneer, I know Priest, and I know Logan have been paying very close attention to this lately. Let me ask you, regarding a solution, where would you say the community is, and where is Steven, and how close are we at this point?
I don't think any of the
community's
information.
strong.
Oops,
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say I agree
No,
with
it's
the
fine.
community aspect being strong, and I think that's actually like kind of where I was going. But I think it's difficult for us to know how far away we are, because as a community we have come together multiple times and shown that we show solidarity together. But I don't think we ever get an open discourse, and I think the community members that have been in the Twitter spaces would say that the core team members and the other team members for Harmony would say that they don't know either how open those lines of communication were prior. And I would say we'd be unable to answer that question, Fizz. But I think it's when you have somebody who's a little stubborn, they get stuck in their ways, is the way they kind of use that phrase. And I think we might have broken somebody out of their ways, but is that too little too late? And what kind of governance structure goes forward, I think, is the biggest question from the community. Is like, okay, cool, we understand, we love Harmony, cheap, and it's awesome for the things that we think are going to be successful. We don't want to leave because other places have other opportunity costs that we don't want to have to deal with, when there could just be like hey man, go build the other thing and let somebody else be a CEO, or let there be a governing DAO. And I think that's the part of the conversation that needs to be explored more, is like, what type of governance would we want if we even were able to change the people who are making the power decisions at the top.
I just wanted to interject there, Priest. I've just noticed as well that Jack from Harmony has liked the tweet that we're live right now. Jack, if you're watching, it'd be very cool to have you come on and discuss what we're discussing now with us. If you can, just reach out to me on Twitter and I'll tell you how you can get on the call. I appreciate that you have a Google Meet happening soon, in a couple of hours, I believe. But if you could maybe pop on before you do that, I don't want to add too much of a headache to your lineup, but it'd be very interesting to hear your thoughts on StableX and a few other things that are going on right now, which would be pretty cool. Sorry guys, yeah, carry on.
And then on the algorithmic stablecoin, I'm on Pioneer side in this one. I don't think algorithmic stablecoins are the future. I think it's a wonderful project, and I hope it's successful because it's a grassroots one, and I know a bunch of people who are working on it. I personally just don't think that algorithmic stablecoins are going to be a thing that anyone's really interested in, unless there's a way to prove that there's no security issues. And I don't know how to fix that, and I'm not going to learn how to fix that. I'm just going to stay away because I don't want to be a part of any of the previous things that were problems, to be fair. And I'm just trying to be honest about my own opinion there.
So I just got a message from Mike in the Harmony Community Telegram, who I know is watching. Thanks for supporting us, Mike. But he has asked, can you ask the guys when do they think that the snapshot should be if there is a reimbursement? I think he was talking earlier, should it be before the hack or whatever? So, I mean, do we have an opinion on that, guys?
Unfortunately, I'm actually not a proponent of the reimbursement. I really think that repegging the assets should restore the value, and if you chose to sell that asset, that's the decision you made. I know that sucks to say, but like that's it. You don't have the receipt for the asset that is depegged.
You don't have to feel bad about telling people that they're accountable for the decisions they made, right? Like if you decided to make trades or didn't panic trade, and like I specifically made trades on stables that were losing value because I needed to put some liquidity into a project that I had. Like that was my plan. Like you know what I mean?
No,
Like
for sure. Yeah. It might have been smart. It might have been smart to get out while you could, but I'm saying,
I don't expect reimbursement either for those things that I don't have, right? Like I don't expect that because I made that decision. So I do apologize if people made uneducated decisions and they're upset with that, but like what happened when we
it both ways. It's like if you manage to like save your assets by trading early, or you manage to trade for 80% of value and walk, that might have been smart. If I'm still holding my receipt, I might go to zero. That's the risk I took, and that's the risk you took. You don't have a receipt, you don't get a reimbursement. To me, like that, I would definitely fight for that. It's just the most sensible thing in my opinion. I don't think that we can reimburse people that don't hold the asset.
Could somebody maybe shed some light on me? Maybe it's a bit of a stupid question. Maybe it's a naive, maybe I'm missing something, right? But can somebody tell me how, despite the fact that we've had the bridge hack, and all of these other things going on, now there has been a drop in price in one, okay, but in the macro scale, in the last 48 hours, we're actually seeing an increase in the price of one. How is it that we're not seeing a drastic decline in the price of one, and how it only dropped, I think somebody said 5% when the hack happened and then recovered after? How is this a thing? Because like with nearly every single token I've ever seen, the second that they even get a whiff that there's something bad going on, it dumps. I'm not seeing that with Harmony One.
So if you're
delegated.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, there's a lot of like delegated one that obviously, we can't see sold off until that delegation period. Also, Ethereum's like really strong right now. So, that's going to kind of prop up a lot of different values. But people keep saying, I keep hearing this number, like about 2,500 users on Harmony right now. And honestly, like, I think there's about 500. And the other 2,000 might be like DFK maxis or something. And I think that like the people that we are left with are probably the ones that are like, I'm just going to hold it until there's nothing left, or I'm going to, form a community rebellion and we're all going to walk together. I think that a lot of us are on the same page. And yeah, I've definitely heard in an extremely serious capacity from very known figures on Harmony that, they're like, at this point, if XYZ doesn't happen, we're going to rally up the community to try to figure out like a new home for us. Because like if the thing we love about Harmony is the community, well, that's us. Like, where do you guys want to go? We can go there together and we can love that community, in another place. And that's not what I want. I think the Harmony community could stay here, but like we need the leadership to work with us, or else that's, probably what's going to happen.
So I just got a message from Jack on Twitter, and he said that he was on a little bit earlier on. So I'm a little bit confused. Has this meeting already happened, the Google Space? I thought it was 11.
There's two. There was one last night.
Two of them. There's one last night.
Right. So the one that's happening at 11, does that have Jack on it or not? I'm confused.
Yeah, he's leading it.
You were talking about token price a minute ago, and I just wanted to highlight a fact. Follow the volume. The volume during the token price drop was somewhere between 140 million and 50 million, upwards of 400 million. Once we hit this floor, you can see the volume goes up tremendously. We go to like 363 million is the bottom, up to 605 million. This one even has 1.3 billion in volume. So these are daily volumes on just one LP, just one LP.
The BNB or
no, it's Tether.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, that's what I would say is follow the volume. Buy the news, sell the hype. I don't know what's the other hot takes I could say. I think it's less about sentiment and more about TA.
It's I just find it interesting because like I said, typically you would find a really drastic downturn when something like that happens, you know.
My 2 cents is that the people who are currently building their own projects on Harmony and have been building their projects on Harmony have an amount that they won't be able to really do anything with for a period of time, right? Like you can't not have the things available to support your game, etc. So I would say that, like he's talking about the volume, all that, we're looking at most of the people who would have a tremendous amount of, unless it's already staked and it has to go through steps, most of that liquid money's probably already gone, I would assume. So the price wouldn't really fluctuate that much because there's not that much volume. So like if I'm only buying 100 Harmony, it doesn't affect the price as much as if I was selling like 140 million Harmony, like Logan was saying. So like we're not going to see big swings in the price because there's not continuously larger volumes happening.
Yeah. I mean,
it's larger volume right now than there was when we were at 32 cents. I mean, it's wild to see the support. So you want to see the support. I mean, look at the volume too. It's coming. It's there. And I think that we priced in a floor. I mean, I that's a personal thing. I think that we did. But again, I'm basing this on TA. I'm not basing this on anything else.
I just find it interesting. I don't.
I've never seen something like this.
Yeah. I can't explain it. Like looking at so many different things, so many different projects, so many different tokens over the years, this is an anomaly to me. 100 million goes off the bridge. Like thousands of people. Like it's almost as if all of the people that were really pissed off when it happened and started screaming at the Harmony One team weren't holding anything to dump. That's what it looks like, you know. So
yeah, no, that's kind of the exact opposite, where everybody's that's left is just like so mad they're just holding it because it's like, okay, well, you know, it's at this point, you know, we're like at the edge of the cliff, and it's basically up to Steven, you know, which way this falls, you know, because there are other blockchain communities that are like coming into our spaces, basically poaching our community and saying like, hey, why are you dealing with that? Like, just come over here. Like, we'll help you out with marketing. We'll get you started.
Yep.
You know, and it's sad because it makes you think like, oh yeah, why are we putting up with this? And you know, the people that have the answer to that question are the people that are still holding one or still here talking in Twitter spaces for 6 hours per day, you know?
It is definitely interesting.
If you're a project on Harmony right now and you are not telling people that you are looking at cross-chain options, then you are a liar.
Oh yeah, no, you have to be upfront about that. Last night we had that Twitter space with MTopSwap to bring that to the table and say, hey, we want to know what you guys think about this, because we don't want to leave Harmony, but we have $17,500. Our developer costs $4K per month. You know, those are the numbers. It's all on the table right there. That's what it looks like. Al is our grant advisor. This is what he said. Like, this is where we're at, you know, and the more time we wait to make some of these critical decisions as a project, you know, the more risk we take on as well.
I mean, just going.
What do you think would be the fallout if MTOP decided tomorrow, hey, we're pulling up stakes, we're going to go over to Avalanche or somewhere else? It's been nice knowing you, Harmony. What do you think the fallout would be?
Well, that's not the decision we came up with. The decision we came up with is to kind of collaborate with Al and whoever's above him in the decision making process, and ask, okay, can you give us a date to work with, so we know, like, if we meet our milestones or if we meet the requirements and we've shook hands on the contract and we've doxed to you, like, what date can you fund us? And then, if that doesn't work, we say, okay, you got until August 15th to fund us, or else we're going to have to leave for the survival of our project and for the longevity of our users, investment. And honestly, like, the MTOP community is very aware of that and supportive of that. They really believe in the team, and if we move off chain, unfortunately, we can't take our token with us immediately, because that'll kind of damage the liquidity that we have. We don't actually own the liquidity on chain, because when the token was made, one actually burned the LP because he was worried that people would FUD the project because of our involvement with Holy Grail. So we can't just like simply jump off chain. Like, our token and its liquidity would stay on Harmony.
Did I hear correctly? And you hear things and you're not sure if it's a dream or what else. Did I hear that the other big DeFi project on Harmony is no more?
Which one?
I heard that the Greek god was done.
Hermes.
Oh yeah, that was a really unfortunate thing to see unfold, because we've had AMAs both in their Discord and them in our Discord. They have had a very professional team. I will say, they made a lot of coins, did a lot of like IDOs, all of that. But when they pulled the liquidity and paid themselves, that was a big, warning sign for me. I was like, that's just not how this works. Like, as a project leader, you don't pull the liquidity, the community pulls the liquidity.
Right.
Yeah, they pulled the liquidity and paid themselves.
Well, for lack of a better way of putting it, that's a rug.
Yeah, that's called a rug.
And I felt bad, because we had a good professional relationship with them, and I was like, this is a rug. You guys just rugged. And like, they didn't see it that way. They said, no, we've like been working and we need to get paid. And it's like, no, you don't get paid. Have you ever made a startup company? Like, nobody's gonna pay you.
That's how this works.
Yeah, you're not gonna get paid. You're not gonna get paid for the first year. You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay to be there. That's the cost of a startup.
Right.
So they didn't see it that way, and they took the liquidity. And then Austin was like, I left the team, and I'm like, okay, well, you're a scammer. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, that's what that is.
I mean,
those guys were very well doxed. I mean, you don't have to wonder who the Hermes teams.
I know. That's why I was so confused. They're doxed. They were like the Golden Boys. They had a really nice platform. They had good tech. They had a solid team that like
nice degrees.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I really like have actually kept my mouth shut about the Hermes thing, because like I usually track scammers and do all of this, but when you make it that easy, like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm sorry to your community.
So, when it comes to Hermes, just sticking with that for a minute, like, whether you want to talk about it or not, anybody that's in this chat, Austin took to the Discord, the Harmony One Discord, in the chat, and said, I want to be clear that I left Hermes DeFi for personal reasons at the start of June, before the hack and before the LP pull. I've always been an advocate for the users, and it has been impossible to justify some of the actions taken by the remaining team. I have not been involved in any conversations or actions since my departure. And then somebody else basically said, DFK Detective said, unfortunately, you are tarnished just by previous association. I don't necessarily think that is true.
Yeah, I don't agree.
I don't agree with that sentiment. I think if he was away from them before even the bridge hack, then it's not really fair to tarnish him with the same brush in that. And he also then goes on to say, I've asked the team what the status is of the funds that they removed from the LPs. If they don't return those in some way, then I think it would be fair to say that it was malicious.
It's the same as XenonFi. XenonFi did something similar, where someone stepped down, people took over the multisig, and they pulled the liquidity. And it doesn't look good, because that was staged. Like, confirmed. It's the XenonFi.
I'm not familiar with.
Well, I mean, I don't want to take up all your time, but there's scams all over the friggin' place, and Xenon Phi was a pretty a big enough project that it was a shock. And yeah, they I can't remember all the names, but the leader of the project basically stepped out, and a new person stepped in, and then they were either an alt or like somehow connected to the existing member, and they pulled the liquidity and walked. And it was like a decent amount of money, you know?
So just to ask, Pioneer, the Hermes team are doxed, right? And they pulled liquidity, aka rugged the project, paid themselves, and walked away. So if that is actually the case, and that's exactly what they've done, what legal recourse is going to happen there? They're doxed, right? So, I mean, there must be consequences to those actions. They can't, assume that they're going to get away with that, surely. And if not, then what the hell is the point of doxing? What does it mean?
Yeah. Well, I would say first of all, if they've got a business in Web 2, you can report to the Attorney General of their state. That's a good starting point. It also puts kind of pressure on them to act. Another thing, it's small scale. Usually I would say go to IC3 to start the reporting process with the FBI, but it's so small scale, nobody's going to do anything about it. And same, honestly, for civil litigation. The amount of time and money that it takes to pursue someone for civil litigation is usually not worth it, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, you basically walk off scot-free. It really just depends on what their structure is outside of Web3.
Right. So basically they're going to get away with it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if they steal like $3,000, nobody's going to track them down for $3,000. I mean, like I said, you're going to pay that in attorney fees, or you're going to wait 2 years for litigation, to actually happen. It's generally not worth it for like small scale scams.
Which is unfortunate. I think it's really critical to point out, that, not only being doxed, but also making sure that you do your own research before you get into any project is absolutely critical. We had eFreshalon on the other day talking about Egoverse. He has just been granted the paperwork for the LLC, so he is now an official business in the state.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the
Florida.
State. Yeah, so
Congrats,
absolutely amazing for him. So not only is he doxed, he now has a legitimate company, and that is something that a lot of people should, I think, take a leaf out of his book for doing. Not only does it add more trust to the project that you're doing, if you are genuine and your project is in it for the long term, it's not. If he's able to do it, you're all able to do it. At the end of the day, it can't be that difficult. Well, okay, obviously there's going to be paperwork and legislation to go through and all that kind of stuff. But the point is it just adds more weight to what he's doing. And projects that don't do that don't dox themselves and things like that, are becoming more and more sketchy for people to get involved in. And I think that's going to be the case. That if projects aren't going to set up properly, I think we're going to start eliminating a lot more scams. So this is where government legislation is going to do a good thing for a lot of crypto projects, I think.
I think that doxing is going to be trending. I think it's going to kind of gain popularity as well in the crypto space. I know like trustless and anonymity, and those are all selling points, but the more I get into the more professional aspect and like building aspects of Web3, the more I realize like you just need to dox. Like we need to handle our business like we do in Web 2, and you do need to establish some degree of trust. So like I'm doxed. I was like, there's no reason for me to hide behind a PFP and a 0x address and all of this when I'm gonna pay taxes. Like, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, someone could look me up and come to my house, and that could be scary, but that's what happens in real life too.
At the end of the day, it's like, one of the things that I've done for a very long time in the crypto space now is talk about a plethora of different projects. I've even been involved in the, trading and leverage trading in the beginning, because that was all the rage at the time. You kind of go with the trends a little bit when you do the sort of stuff that I do. And I've had people that have been extraordinarily angry with me. And, at the end of the day, if they wanted to, come to my door and vent their frustration, I mean, ultimately they'll get arrested. But that is the reality of it. My face is out there, my name is out there. It's not too difficult to find out who I am. I've already said repeatedly as well that I used to work for the British government as a prison officer and things like that. People, it wouldn't be too difficult to find me and track me down, all that kind of stuff. And I hope that nobody would ever do that for nefarious purposes, but instead to buy me a beer and say hello. But the point is I think it's really important that that people do continue to do this. It's like with crypto, you come for the anonymity and you stay for the the opposite. You stay for the opposite. You stay to get to know everybody. It's a really bizarre twist, isn't it? But a necessary one, I think, for the longevity of many projects that are out there. So we've been going now for 2 hours, wow. Yeah, it's gone very, very, very quickly. We're not going to be back again until Monday. I'm not 100% sure exactly what Monday show is going to be, but I do believe we have a guest possibly lined up for that. And I have about 5 or 6 other people that I need to catch up with for other shows that they can potentially come on in the near future as well. Logan, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here with us. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'll be really interested to have you on again in the future, if you can, to maybe discuss some more stuff that you're potentially doing with Harmony later on in the future. That'd be really cool. Assuming everything continues to go positively, it'd be great to hear from you regarding some of the stuff that you might be doing later on, just to kind of let everybody know. That'd be really cool. And Pioneer, thanks for coming and joining us again, dude. You're becoming a part of the furniture now.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to hear your insights with this as well. Fizz and Priest, do you guys have anything else to say before I kind of shut down everything?
Wow, it's over already. I can't believe.
Man, that's what he said.
Oh, wow.
Let that one sit for a second.
Low-hanging fruit.
Hey, man, listen, sometimes you got to, right? Like, we've had a really tough week, right? Like, sometimes you just kind of got to lighten the mood a little bit. I was going to say, this weekend's going to be crazy. There's going to be information that's out there. We'll do our best to keep up on it and try to keep everyone up to date when we should come back on Monday. But, jump in the Twitter spaces yourself. Enjoy the conversations, because they get really informative and really out there at sometimes, just kind of like any kind of podcast. But get out there, get involved, and I look forward to talking to everybody on Monday. Be good to each other.
Great.
And yourselves.
In fact, before we go, I think it's only appropriate that we ask Logan the question, don't you?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes.
Logan, if you were a fruit, what fruit would you be?
If I was a fruit, I would be an orange.
Why?
I just really like the color orange.
Come on.
I love it.
Come on. Yeah.
You didn't even choke. You just had it ready.
You just knew what to say. It was natural, just like the orange itself.
Well, I mean, before Crypto Fruit Club decided to go up and just leave, I've swept the floor on all the oranges. So.
Oh, so you're a connoisseur. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're like a legit collector.
No, yeah, we're outclassed. This is okay.
We found somebody who is immune to our line of questioning and ready prepared. So yeah, excellent.
Inoculated.
Crypto Lamb, I've got one for you. I also got one for you.
Oh,
all right.
Right.
If you were yogurt, would you be fruit at the bottom or stirred?
Would I be fruit at the bottom or stirred? Is there any other options, or am I
Or
pigeonholed?
yogurt.
If am I
No.
I'm pigeonholed into that? Am I? Okay. I think.
Yeah, sorry. Just like the last proposal, there's only 2 options. Yeah.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired!
Come on more often. Please come on more often.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with fruit at the bottom. What does that tell you?
Ooh, waiting to be stirred.
Oh.
You hear that, ladies? He's fruit at the bottom. You hear that?
Oh man.
Ah, wow. Okay.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you letting me just be myself and be an idiot. So I love this community.
No, man, it's our pleasure to have you on, and hopefully we can have you again on in the near future as well. It'd be absolutely epic.
And not talk about Harmony, and just talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah,
bro.
we'll just talk about
hang
fruit
out.
and yogurt, you know.
Yes, please.
All healthy things, of course. So yeah, if you guys, one thing that we did on another show that I really enjoyed doing, and that was kind of giving everybody just a brief kind of positive affirmation to tell everybody who's watching. We'll start with you, Logan, because I know you need to run away. So if you could just give us a quick positive affirmation for everybody, and then we'll move on to Fizz, Priest, and then Pioneer, and then myself, and then we'll close out the show.
Yeah, find inner peace, love others, and find harmony.
Nice. Yourself,
I'm trying to.
Fizz?
I'm good.
No, a positive affirmation for the people.
Yeah. I'm good.
Oh. No message for the people?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay.
All right.
Priest?
Yeah.
That was positive.
The grass is greener. The grass is greener where you water, but you have to turn around and make sure the house isn't on fire. And if your house is on fire, you call the fire department. And if you're on fire, you stop, drop, and roll.
No, you take the water that you've already got. You're
Water,
watering
yeah.
the lawn. You put the fire out.
You
guys
start
are
peeing
right.
on the house.
Right? Like, I was thinking a second. Oh, God. No, but seriously out there, everybody, just be yourself. If you need to be angry, be angry. Just don't say mean things to people who aren't the ones responsible. I think that's kind of where I want to go at. Just like vent if all feelings are valid. Just recognize your feelings, and your words with those feelings can hurt others. So just remember to be good to each other.
I'm just going to go down the route of Animal Farm and say that, you know, some feelings are more valid than others, just saying. So, Pioneer.
I would just say, you know, take care of yourself before you kind of speak on behalf of others. You know, I think that's just really important, is making sure that you're in a good place before you kind of influence other people. And yeah, keep it harmonious.
Very nice. Very cool. All right then, guys. So I am going to leave the Discord call right now, and then that will leave just Fizz and myself. You'll need to turn Chrome back up, I think, Fizz, so people will be able to hear you. Thanks, everybody in the call. Catch you later. Goodbye. Thanks again, Logan. Take care. So now they're gone. Fizz, if you turn up your Chrome there, I'm going to start the music for the outro. Yeah. Let's do that. So again, thanks everybody for watching myself and Fizz on the Crypto Lamb Show. We're now, like I said, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, of course. And you can catch my presence and Fizz's lovely presence as well every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Crypto Lamb Show. Yeah, we're hopefully going to have some more very cool stuff to bring to everybody next week. Absolutely awesome. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. Fizz, you want to say anything to the people before we close out? Oh, I need to. I'm an idiot. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Speak again, mate.
I will see everybody Monday. Everybody get rested up this weekend. Put your thinking caps on. I think that we are going to come to a head next week one way or another.
Awesome. So, yeah, thanks again for watching, everybody, and we will catch you on Monday. Be good. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're the one who doesn't dream. So why are you always sleeping? I remember when you said you're afraid of what's ahead. What happened to ride or die? I asked and you just start crying. How are you acting so surprised? Haven't you seen it in my eyes? Oh, I'm running, what am I running from? Time's going by, but where's the time going? I tried to give you everything. You took it all and took it for granted. If you're still falling out of love,